Nebraska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. A Fairbanks man is in jail after leading troopers on a high-speed chase that temporarily backed up traffic on a main highway yesterday morning.
22-year-old Jonathan Pitts appeared in Fairbanks District Court this afternoon, charged with failure to stop and reckless driving. Troopers say Pitts was driving at high rates of speed, and when they attempted to pull him over, he fled on the Richardson Highway. Eventually, Pitts flipped his vehicle near mile 354, but refused to surrender and reportedly told officers he was armed with knives. After a brief standoff, he was taken into custody. A district court judge set his bail at $2,500 this afternoon and ordered that if Pitts is released on bail, he not drive or sit in the front seat of a motor vehicle.
After being on the run for nearly 6 weeks, fugitive James Nick Cook is now back in custody. The 27-year-old Fairbanks man was on the run from North Star Center after being remanded there to finish part of his 5-year sentence. Cook was sentenced in the brutal assault of a 3-year-old boy. The young victim reportedly still suffers from nightmares after being beaten by a drug-enraged Cook. The assault that happened in 2014 resulted in multiple injuries for the boy. Cook was found covered in dirt and the boy barely conscious inside of his vehicle. Authorities say he tested positive for both spice and methamphetamines. Family members of the boy were present in the court today and say they are relieved Cook is off the streets.
I don't know if I was more terrified or more upset that he had that opportunity to run, being at a halfway house where he's capable of going on the same streets as we do and going to the same places. It's been terrible. It feels like it recently happened until this is completely over, when I know he's not going to be around. It's not going to be over, but it's, for my son, it's changed him. It changed all of us. Anything can give him a flashback, anything can give him pain or memories, and he doesn't forget it. He talks about when somebody gets hit or when he sees somebody getting hit, and he's like, that's what happened to me.
A North Pole man has been indicted by a federal grand jury on postal embezzlement charges. 47-year-old James Zmitrovich is accused of stealing drugs out of packages while employed at the Fairbanks main post office as a mail clerk. It's alleged Zmitrovich stole the drugs from packages going to patients from pharmacies for years. Those drugs included morphine, oxycodone, and even medications for veterans in rural Alaskan villages. Zmitrovich will be arraigned in U.S. District Court in Fairbanks on August 27th.
A Fairbanks man is in jail in connection to burglaries in the College Road area. 25-year-old Roderick Smith is charged with burglary, second-degree robbery, assault, and tampering with evidence. Troopers say Roderick ran from them early this morning after they found him inside a home with the door left open. Fairbanks Police Department and a Trooper K-9 unit set up a perimeter and were able to track and locate Roderick. He was taken into custody and is being held at Fairbanks Correctional Center.
Borough Planning Director Christine Nelson spoke at today's Greater Fairbanks Chamber of Commerce luncheon on the proposed zoning ordinance to regulate locations of marijuana establishments. The 14-page document allows 4 types of commercial activity: cultivation, retail, manufacturing, and test lab facilities. She explained where buffer zones will be placed to minimize conflicts regarding commercial marijuana facilities. The next ordinance will come out, will define who can open a cannabis business and how many licenses through the borough will issue. Licensing fees and potential requirements for security, hours of operation, and odor control will also be addressed in the next ordinance. Nelson says the amount of regulations will pose a challenge for the controversial industry.
We're the first in the state to go forward with the zoning ordinance, so we're kind of breaking ground for other communities. Other states have preceded us, so we're looking at how they've done things and what works. But we don't have as much things in place like building codes and other things in the borough. Other states have those. So we're having to look at what we can do to protect the public health, safety, and welfare and the community while allowing this new industry to happen but being appropriately regulated.
And when we come back, this past weekend, Sheena Hot Springs hosted their 10th Energy Fair. Our cameras were there, and we'll pass along some interesting comments and ideas.
Also in this week's health report, with school starting tomorrow, we'll tell you what kind of breakfast is good for your little ones. These stories and more when we come back.
And welcome back. The federal government has granted Royal Dutch Shell the final permits needed to drill in deep oil-bearing levels of the Chukchi Sea. This is the first time in more than 2 decades a company has been permitted to go beneath the ocean floor into hydrocarbon zones in search of oil in the area. U.S. Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement approval was previously on hold as the company was waiting for equipment which could be used in case of an emergency blowout. Shell only has around 6 weeks left to drill until the permit expires on the specific well 70 miles off of the coast of Wainwright. Inspectors will be monitoring activities aboard all vessels. Arctic Director at the Northern Alaska Environmental Center, an organization opposed to the drilling, Jessica Gerard, says the approval will end up affecting interior Alaskans.
Well, I think everybody should be paying attention to climate change, and with all this carbon fossil fuel that they will be getting, if they burn that fossil fuel, there are scientists that are saying it cannot pass a 2-degree warming for all of us to be habitable in Alaska. So if we burn all the oil that they potentially find, that would increase temperatures to approximately 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and everyone should be concerned, interior otherwise.
Over the weekend, Chena Hot Springs hosted their 10th annual Renewable Energy Fair. Hundreds of Alaskans came to learn about how to heat their homes more efficiently and at a lower cost. Governor Walker and Alaska's Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan talked about the future of Alaska's sustainability. Now, they also spent the time speaking with local vendors and inventors about how new technologies that are more sustainable and less expensive than fossil fuels. The keynote speaker was Stefan Larsson Mastenstrail from Sweden, who has invented the Genius Stirling engine, a single household machine that uses wood pellets to generate both heat and power.
And we brought to Alaska today our Genius Stirling engine. I don't mean to sound big-headed, but Genius is actually the brand name, and it actually stands for Generator Innovation for us, which is what we want to produce. We want to bring something to the state of Alaska and to the country of the USA, something that we can produce to create electricity and heating through one system. You know, I can see this in the future that people say, do you remember when we used to pay the grid for electricity? Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a crazy thing we used to do. And you can see it in front of you in your kitchen. It's feeding out through the wall, whatever, just like you'd have a tumble dryer.
Scientists from California to Alaska have detected a toxic algae blooming in warm water. Dozens of shellfish samples have been evaluated in the Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation's Health Laboratory as trace amounts of domoic acid have been found off the coast of southeastern and south central Alaska. Domoic acid is a potentially fatal neurotoxin found in algae that causes a variety of symptoms such as vomiting, diarrhea, and permanent short-term memory loss. This coastal ribbon of algae is flourishing amid unusually warm Pacific Ocean temperatures. Commercial fisheries off the Washington state coast have been closed after finding elevated levels of toxins in tested crab meat. Environmental Health Shellfish Coordinator George Scanlon says there is no threat that the toxins will reach high concentrated levels in Alaska waters.
Although we have seen the bloom around the state, our limited testing that we have done has been well below the regulatory limit. And the last report also coming out of the folks in home is that the bloom seems to be subsiding now. We are very comfortable and we're very happy that some of these, these partners are working together, and we are keeping in touch with them and reporting, how this bloom is working.
The kids are starting classes for the new school year, and eating right will help them do a better job on their studies. Monty Bowen has more in this week's Health Report.
Getting your kids to eat breakfast can be a challenge as they are rolling out of bed and rushing off to school. Pediatrician Dr. Richard So says children need a nutritious breakfast for an A+ start to their day.
Your brain needs fuel to think and to perform optimally during your school day.
Dr. So says simple foods work well for a quick breakfast. Toast with peanut butter, a piece of cheese, fruit, or a bowl of cereal are all good choices for kids on the go in the morning. It's a good idea to give kids something with a little protein and a carbohydrate, preferably a whole grain or a piece of fruit. Adding something with fiber like fruit or berries will help carry them through lunch by keeping them feeling fuller longer. Kids who play sports might gravitate towards a really heavy protein shake, but Dr. So says breakfast is not the best time for that.
Your body builds your proteins while you're sleeping, and that can make you a little bit more fatigued during the day.
A healthy first meal gives kids energy and balanced nutrition. Research shows that eating a good breakfast may help with memory, academic performance, attendance, and mood. It may also be associated with a healthier body weight in kids. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building, and by Interior Women's Health, located on 1626 30th Avenue.
All right, and we just had some new developments in the search for Tyler Cover's body in the Chena River. They have made some discoveries. We're not saying what yet. They haven't officially released it, but they are asking for help with boats tonight. They said you can meet at the Chena recreational area behind Splash and Dash. So anybody who has been helping in the search for Tyler Cover's body is asked to report there. You can speak to Peter Captain Jr. And yeah, so they're just asking for as much help as they can get tonight.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Stephanie. Moving on to sports. Joe Cook is up next with sports. And the Big Dipper got some moolah money today for the Kraft Hockeyville contest. Also, the North Pole Patriots football team will be back on the field tomorrow. More on that after the break in Sports with Joe. Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here with your local Tuesday Sportscast. The Kraft Company made an appearance in Fairbanks today, in a sense. They're giving out cheese, real cheese, cheddar in fact. The Big Dipper Ice Arena received their check for $20,000 from Kraft today. Fairbanks Hockey Hall of Fame President Randy Zarnke presented the big check for $20K to Barrow Representative and Big Dipper Manager Jeremy Masters and Ice Dogs General Manager Rob Profit. The Dipper was a national finalist in the Kraft Hockeyville contest this year and finished just outside the Final Four. The winnings go to local arenas and hockey towns across America to help improve rinks and boost interest in the sport in local communities. The Dipper will look to enhance game atmosphere and other improvements that will benefit various local hockey organizations and the community.
There was talk of dividers for, separating the rink into sections for youth practices. There's possibility of a lighted marquee out in front of the building. A variety of ideas.
Hopefully this is the kind of a platform. I'd like to, at some point with Randy and the help of others, create some type of, for lack of better words, an account, if you will, that people can donate to, knowing that they're going to come to absolute upgrades in a facility that's going to make it a better place to come to. Those type of things. I'd like this to be kind of the platform to jump into that.
And no rest for the weary, as the old saying goes, but the North Pole Patriots, they are in pursuit of overcoming any fatigue. They have an important game this week. It's on Wednesday. The Patriots won their season opener over Ketchikan 54-8 on Friday night. Last year's state runner-ups in the medium schools division and the defending Southeastern Conference champions are already 1-0 in the SEC. Now they have to do it again tomorrow night. Number 3 North Pole will take on number 5 Juneau in Juneau Wednesday night. If they win, they will be 2-0 and in prime position for another SEC title with one more conference game left after Wednesday. The Patriots will try to remain undefeated after 2 conference road games in 6 days. North Pole head coach Richard Hernert will learn a lot about his team in a short period of time.
It's a little bit scary to have your first 2 games be conference games, be played within 5 days of each other, all that. There's a lot of adversity in this first road trip. So, and Juneau Douglas. They're always going to be, pretty tough. It's a scary thing, but hopefully for our guys, it's something to build on and then really embrace as that opportunity. So, 66% of our conference play done in 2 weeks, and then by week 4 we'll be done. We'll kind of know where we're at for the most part. Hopefully, if we're in a good position, it'll be just kind of a little bit of preparation, polishing up and kind of looking ahead to the playoffs.
And in recent club soccer news, over 30 Eclipse Soccer Club players from Fairbanks were named to the Alaska Youth Soccer State Cup All-Tournament teams. 38 total players made all-tournament teams. The 01 Eclipse girls team landed 6 selections. Hannah Olson, Rachel Hansen, Malia Miller, Kendall Lavelle, Grace Marks, and Grace Moore. The Fairbanks Rush 01 boys squad was represented by Drew Ricks, Seth Lindsay, and Ethan Ragor. The Eclipse girls 01 team and the boys Fairbanks Rush 01 team won U15 division championships during that tournament. For the full list, go to this story on the sports page of Webster11.com. Now, today was supposed to be the first day of high school tennis season, but due to the rain, that will have to wait as the first matches for today have been canceled. Local teams will try again on Thursday as West Valley and Lathrop will go head-to-head and Hutch will play Monroe, the Dan Ramras Community Tennis Courts. And we end sports tonight with an intriguing and heartfelt story out of Baltimore. Monday night, the Baltimore Orioles had a very special young lady throw out the first pitch. Haley Dawson is 5 years old and has a rare condition called Poland syndrome. She has an underdeveloped right hand. Thanks to engineers at UNLV, Dawson threw out the first pitch using a 3D printed Orioles-themed robotic hand. She tossed the first pitch to Orioles star Manny Machado.
Her prosthetic is called Flexi Hand 2. UNLV shared that design for free on the web in hopes of helping other children. And that'll wrap it up for sports tonight. Don't go anywhere. Mike Schultz is up next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News for a Tuesday night. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about weather. Got a lot of rain today. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 3/100 to maybe a half an inch possible for the overall total when it's all over. It looks like the heaviest rain has moved through, but we're still going to have rain off and on throughout the night. Our photograph tonight, a little depressing because this was sent in by Nancy Hummel. She was at the Denali Park area over the weekend, and yes, this is termination dust on the mountains and way back there in the distance too, so that's kind of depressing a little bit. But a beautiful shot with the fireweed still growing. That's always a good sign there. What's going on as far as the numbers go? Our high today was 57, the low last night 47, the record high 82. That was set in 1905, but in 1947 it dropped down to 28 for the overnight record low. Sunrise and sunset, 16 hours and 13 minutes of sunshine, and that's a loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite radar, not nearly as much moisture as there was yesterday on the radar. As you can see, it's all starting to thin out a little bit. A lot of it moving across the interior, and we got a good strong westerly flow that's helping to bring that in on the latest radar zooming in around the Fairbanks area. You can see it start to thin out at the very end there of the run of the radar, and that means that we are getting the showers that are getting more widespread. And as far as temperatures across the rest of Alaska today, they're fairly cool. 59 degrees at Juneau, some showers around there. Ketchikan just partly cloudy and 61. Around the Anchorage Bowl, 69 degrees, more sunshine than we had, that's for sure. Kodiak 68 and partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies along the Aleutian chain at Colby at 55, 55 also at Bethel, and 50 degrees at Nome. Now north of the Brooks Range, chilly day in Barrow, 37 degrees there, and Fort Yukon partly cloudy and 63. Lower 48 weather, quite a bit to talk about tonight. First of all, we'll talk about temperatures as always. 86 degrees in Seattle, a hot day there. Another hot day for Las Vegas and Phoenix. Not too bad at Salt Lake City and Denver, but lots of showers and thunderstorms, some of those severe, moving across the nation's central sections and around the Great Lakes also. St. Louis 91 degrees before some thunderstorms move through. Near 90 degrees in New York and 90 at Washington, D.C. and showers and thunderstorms over the deep south. Now look at these storms associated with this area of low pressure. The comma shape really showing you how well defined it is, and there are patches of yellow and red in here, bringing with it very heavy rainfall and possibly even some isolated tornadoes too. The rest of the country, looking out to the west, things are looking real good. Lots of clear skies and warm temperatures once again. And there's no relief for Wednesday and Thursday. Ongoing drought over the northwest part of the country with hazy, smoky skies at night. We know what that's like. And poor air quality, and no relief until maybe this weekend at the earliest. As you can see, we're looking at the jet stream to remain well to the north, allowing all that hot air to come up from the south. More thunderstorms over the deep south, but a little cooler conditions across the Great Lakes. Well, heading back to Alaska for tomorrow. Cloudy skies expected for Barrow, isolated showers for Nome, and a few scattered showers for Fort Yukon. The same can be said for the interior, as we're looking again at region-wide cloudy skies with showers into the evening hours tomorrow. And over southeast Alaska, it looks like the heaviest rain has finally moved out of the picture, just becoming showers for Juneau and Ketchikan. While out to the southwest, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies at Cold Bay, rain showers for Bethel, and sunny skies at Kodiak. And if you're heading down to the Anchorage Bowl, it looks pretty good actually. Partly cloudy skies for Anchorage and Homer, and scattered showers in Valdez. So our forecast for the remainder of the night, we're going to have periods of rain into the morning hours. 49 degrees, like I said, the heaviest rain has already moved through. Tomorrow's forecast, another day like today, 58 degrees with scattered showers throughout the day. And the 5-day period outlook, you can see here, maybe some showers again on Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately, for the weekend. But also temperatures will be cooling down to the 60s, overnight lows to the mid-40s. And it wasn't very encouraging to see that termination dust in Denali Park. Not a good omen.
Well, no. I mean, gosh, all we need is 10 degrees cooler overnight, and possibly we'd get some of our own.
We're not looking at that at all for the long-range outlook. We were talking about it yesterday, so not even going to talk about it right now.
Okay. And despite the rain, again, people are looking for help with the search for Tyler Cover's body. Tonight you can meet at the Chena Recreational Area behind Splash and Dash if you would like to help with boats.
All right, thank you. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, how grueling is the Army Ranger test? Well, 2 history-making women just passed that test today. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Night.